Welcome, class. I'm absolutely thrilled to be guiding you through today's explainer. We're going to map out your foundational blueprint for taking a business idea from a mere spark of inspiration to a fully registered global enterprise. Whether your dream is opening a cozy local cafe or launching the next massive tech startup, the fundamental steps are actually exactly the same. So, get comfortable, grab your notebooks, and let's get started on building something amazing from the ground up.
Here's our quick roadmap for today's session. We're going to cover 5 key steps: spotting your big idea, strategy and scanning, expanding across borders, choosing a legal structure, and finally, making it official.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, spotting your big idea.
You know, it can feel super intimidating to think you have to invent something completely out of thin air. As a first-year business student, you might feel like all the good ideas are already taken, right? Well, as we'll see today, you definitely don't need to be a mad scientist in a lab. Opportunities are actually already all around you, just waiting for you to pay attention to them.
A chance happening is a perfect example of this. Imagine you're just taking a stroll through a park, and you happen to notice an elderly couple looking for a vacant bench to sit on, but every single bench is occupied. Well, that very simple, everyday observation actually inspired the invention of a walking cane that folds out into a small chair. It's all about keeping your eyes wide open to the unmet needs right there in your immediate environment.
You can also just lean into what you already know and love. You could take a personal passion, like say a love for plants and knowing how to care for them, and turn that into a thriving plant rental business for corporate offices. Or you might use insights from your day job. For example, a bank employee might notice a real gap in the market and start a lending business that doesn't even require traditional collateral. The very best ideas usually sit right at that intersection of what you love doing and what you already know how to do.
Okay, moving on to section 2, strategy and scanning. How do we survive the real world?
Because here's the thing, business is definitely not a straight line. It's a continuous loop. We rely on constant environmental scanning. That means we're always looking at our internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as the external opportunities and threats out there in the wild. Once we formulate and implement the strategy based on that data, we evaluate the results, and not just once a quarter, but practically every single day, feeding that fresh information right back into step 1.
Let's put this into perspective with a really relatable example. Opening a broiled chicken stall in a busy neighborhood. Notice how the internal and external factors play off each other here. You rely on your internal strength, which is a fantastically tasty family recipe and owning your own commercial spot. Then, you pair that with the external opportunity of heavy pedestrian traffic. Together, those advantages help you overcome your internal weakness of lacking business experience and the massive external threat of giant fast food chains operating right next door. Your strategy becomes super clear. Make that chicken smell so incredibly aromatic that the foot traffic literally cannot resist stopping by.
So, the million-dollar question is, where are you going to compete? Are you going to fight it out in a crowded red ocean, doing the exact same thing as everyone else and scrapping over pennies? Or will you innovate and find a blue ocean? A blue ocean strategy is all about breaking away from the ordinary. For instance, instead of just selling standard bread like every other bakery on the block, maybe you pivot to creating high-end specialty cupcakes. You're effectively creating a brand new market space where the old competition is totally irrelevant.
Which brings us to section 3, expanding across borders.
Globalization has literally shrunk the world. Today, we don't even think twice about buying chocolates from the US or biscuits from Japan at our local corner store. And as local competition gets tougher and mall spaces become incredibly expensive, expanding abroad becomes a really attractive option. It can cut your operational costs, open the door to massive new customer bases, and fuel some incredible long-term growth.
I know, going global sounds totally overwhelming, but it's really just a stepping stone process. You absolutely don't have to build a multi-million-dollar factory overseas on day 1. You can simply start by exporting your local goods. Down the line, maybe you form a partnership with a foreign company. If your brand is going strong, you could try franchising, where foreign entrepreneurs actually pay to use your name. And finally, when your foundation is rock solid, you can take that ultimate step of opening your very own international branches.
Now, if you are going to export, you've got to learn the lingo of international trade. FOB stands for free on board, meaning the price is only quoted up to the port of exit. CIF means cost, insurance, and freight, so the quote covers everything right up to the buyer's port of entry.
And CNF means cost and freight, where securing the insurance is left up to the buyer. Knowing exactly who is footing the bill for insurance and freight when you ship across the globe is going to save you from some seriously costly misunderstandings.
All right, Section 4. Choosing a legal structure to protect your enterprise. When you're structurally building this company, you've basically got three main options to weigh. A sole proprietorship is by far the fastest and easiest to start, and you get total control, but it severely limits your ability to raise capital. A partnership lets 2 or more people pool their money and talents, but keep in mind, you have unlimited liability for your partner's business debts. Finally, a corporation provides limited liability, meaning your personal savings are protected if the business goes under, and it's way easier to raise capital. But naturally, it comes with a lot more government regulations and paperwork, so you're constantly weighing speed against protection and capital.
And that takes us to our final block, Section 5, making it official, with the registration route. Okay, I know paperwork isn't anyone's favorite topic, but please don't let the bureaucracy intimidate you. It's really just a logical checklist. First, if you're a sole proprietor, you register your business name with the DTI. If you formed a partnership or corporation, you head to the SEC. Next, everyone has to visit the BIR to get a tax ID and the authority to print receipts. If you grow large enough to employ 50 or more people, you'll need to coordinate with DOL for labor regulations. And lastly, you secure your local mayor's permit to officially open your doors. Just take it one step at a time.
As a quick bonus note, if you're interested in a community-driven approach, you might want to look into forming a cooperative. This is a really unique structure where an autonomous association of people shares the capital, the risks, and the benefits based on a common bond. They're supervised by the Cooperative Development Authority, and they actually enjoy unique tax exemptions and preferential government treatment. It's just a fantastic model for community empowerment.
Ultimately, everything we've talked about today, from spotting that first chance happening in the park, all the way to filling out forms at the mayor's office, it all requires you to take a leap of faith. Because as the old proverb says, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Without the bravery to actually launch the venture, there's no reward, no growth, and no impact.
So I'm going to leave you with this to chew on before our next class. When you look around your environment today, whether you're on campus, at home, or at a part-time job, what hidden problem are you going to be the very first to solve? What is your blue ocean idea going to be? Keep your eyes open, trust what you observe, and I'll see you in our next session.